Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our lesson for today. My name is Miss P. Langa, and you already know that I'm back for another STEM lockdown digital lesson. I am going to be your English teacher today, and I am going to be teaching you guys how to write a speech. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I hope everyone is happy and ready to learn today. Like I said before, my name is Pearl Langa, and I'm going to be teaching you guys English for grade 10. But if you're in any other class, you are more than welcome to our class. Learners that we always interact with who are back here today. And thank you so much for joining in today. Who is excited to start learning? I'm breaking up. Let me quickly try to fix that. Can everyone hear me now? Or am I still breaking up? Sounds good. Awesome. So today we are going to be learning how to write a speech. And before we get into that, we are going to look at the work that we did last week. Michaela, just check if your connection is stable. Still picking up signal. Get my network working. So just give me a few minutes. I did some playing around with my router this morning and I think it's backfiring. Right, so we're back. Can everyone hear me now? Okay, so today we don't have any Kahoot games planned because it's a Monday and I think all get a little bit serious. We're going to be learning about how to write a speech. And before we start with that, I'd like to give a big who submitted her letter issue with the letter getting that and was sent me still complaining. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully, I'm back, and we don't have any other issues today. Right. Okay, so can everyone hear me now? I see Vicky is complaining, saying she can't hear me. Hi, Luna. Hi, Vicky. I'm glad everyone can hear me now. So let me quickly go back to my previous slide. I was saying to you guys that I got a submission from Carol. She did say she submitted her letter to the editor to me last week, and this was the letter to the editor. The letter is seamless. She had her address at the top. She had a salutation. She had her subject, introduction, body, conclusion. She had her closing and her nice address at the bottom. And I was very, very proud to see that. So if you guys have written your letters and you have not submitted them to me as yet, I urge you to please send them so I can give you a big shout out. But I'm very, very, very glad that Carol sent through her shout out. Okay, so let's go back to today's business. Um, Before we go back to today's business, a lot of you guys said to me, are saying to me right now, I hope we're playing a Kahoot. We played Kahoot on Friday, and everyone had a great time. And our Kahoot was based on conjunctions. So, just to recap quickly, conjunction is a word that connects or joins clauses or words or phrases together in a sentence. Last week when we played the Kahoot game, a lot of you guys noticed that there are a lot of random rules around conjunctions, and it's important for us to be knowledgeable of those rules. So if you would like to play Kahoot and you missed it on Friday, join us again this Friday for another Kahoot experience. Okay, at the end of today's lesson, you will know what a speech is. You will know the purpose of writing a speech. You will know how to write a speech, and you will know the importance of research before writing a speech. Are you ready for today's lesson? Let's get to it. Just a quick disclaimer before I start with today's lesson. Can we please limit the amount of things we say in the group chats? Some learners find that very distracting. So if you don't really have anything to say or any questions to ask, please just limit talking in the group chats while I'm teaching. So like I said, today we're doing a speech, and it says here how to write a speech. A speech is a formal address or discourse delivered to an audience. We all know what a speech is. We are given a task, usually every single term, if we're lucky, once or twice a year on speech presentations, right? And this is when you're expected to stand in front of the class and to say something to the class. And a lot of learners find that very difficult. But today I'll be teaching you guys how to write a speech, right? So that you don't have any issues presenting it. Okay, the next part says many, if not all, great speeches are remembered as much for their stirring words as for the context in which they were delivered. So, a lot of speeches that are delivered are remembered about why they were delivered and in which area they were delivered. So, for example, Thabo Mbeki delivered a speech in Parliament once titled, I Am an African. And the context in which this speech was delivered was in Africa, and he was delivering the speech to Africans. So that was a very important concept to look at before delivering the speech, because everyone he was delivering the speech to could understand where he was coming from. Another example of a speech is a speech by Martin Luther King Jr., and he presented the speech, I Have a Dream, long before in America, and long before everyone had equal rights. He had the dream that Black people, or African people rather, would have some type of power. So, for example, these are the examples that we are given to give us some background on the context in which the speech is delivered. Right, let's quickly look at this check myself activity. And you know, I enjoy doing check myself activities with you guys. So we're going to do it together, right? And it basically asks you about how to write a speech. So it says, how comfortable are you with presenting a prepared speech? I like presenting speeches. Who likes presenting speeches always, sometimes, never? Therese says always. Slider says never. Monica says sometimes. Vicky sometimes. Well, for me, it's always, because I am always prepared. If you know how to write a speech the right way, you will like presenting the speech. Hopefully, Michaela, at the end of the lesson, you will love presenting speeches. Tina, we're going to fix it just now. We all get scared. Let's look at the second one. I research my content. So, how many of you guys research before writing their speech? I see a lot of sometimes, always, me, always. Always is the right answer for me personally, because this is my own check myself activity. When you research before writing a speech, it makes it easier to present the speech. Let's look at the next one. I include my own opinions in speeches. So, do you always talk about how you feel in speeches, what you've experienced? I do that always, yes, because remember, you are the one presenting the speech. So, this speech has to have your own opinion. The next one, I use speech cards. Who uses speech cards? I see a lot of learners are saying nope, nope, nope. Sometimes. Same here. I use cue cards or speech cards sometimes. But the right answer is always. We must always use speech cards when presenting a speech. The next one, I practice my speech often before the delivery date. Always practice your speech. Because if you don't practice your speech, then you won't be delivering the best speech. So it's always great to practice your speech. The next one, I work on ensuring that my audience enjoys the speech. Always. Even if it means making your audience laugh or making them get emotional, right? Always ensure that your audience enjoys the speech. I see a lot of yeses and nos and nopes and okays and coming in. It's okay if it's no, never. It's okay because we're all here today to learn how to always master these things. Here's the next one. I am able to maintain eye contact with the audience. Right, always. The best trick is to look at the wall at the back. So if you have an intercom at the wall at the back of the classroom, always look at that. Or look at your best friend, like someone suggested in the group chat. That way you won't get any distractions. It is a bit hard, Vicky, but it's always good to look at the audience. Lionheart, looking at your feet is not a good thing. That is considered looking down. You must always make sure that you keep eye contact. Right. I am able to maintain eye contact. Yes. I achieve good marks for prepared speeches. Who achieves good marks? Always. Remember, speeches are free marks. Tino, yes, you do get silly friends who pull funny faces while you presenting a speech and they make you laugh. Always avoid looking at friends like who are like that. Look at people in the classroom who are interested in hearing you present your speech. Okay, you must always make sure that you get good marks for your speech. Right, when you're writing a speech, here are the most important things to consider: choosing a topic, researching the topic, making the content relevant, and writing the speech. So before you start writing your speech, it is always important to choose the right topic. I know a lot of you got the shock of your lives when I spoke about choosing a topic. Um, Choosing a topic is not easy. See, Mr. Bean there is dropping his oyster. Choosing a topic is not easy because you don't really know which topic to pick and if the topic is right for you. So here are example topics. Okay, on this specific slide, we have three topics. And can we all focus now on the lesson? We'll talk about Mr. Bean and everything else afterwards. Right. Here's apocalypse. Sometimes all the topics aren't good. But I'm going to teach you now how to pick the right topic. So on this specific slide, we are given three topics. The first one is girls are under more pressure in high school. The second one is schools must not sell unhealthy foods. And the third one is cyberbullies should be suspended from school. So if you look at these topics, there are specific keywords used in the different topics. And when you pick a topic, you must look at the keywords used in order to know whether this topic is for you or not. So the first one, girls, is a keyword. So if you can relate to girls, that would be a good topic to choose. Under more pressure, if you understand the pressure that girls go through, that would be a good topic for you to choose. Number two, schools is a keyword here. Okay, so if you go to school, this would be a good topic for you to choose. Must not sell unhealthy foods. So if your school has a tuck shop, you would know that you would pick this topic. And if they sell unhealthy food, you would pick this topic because you could relate to it. The third one, cyberbullies. So if you know something about cyberbullies, that's a topic you can choose. Suspended from school. So if you go to school and you had your encounter with cyberbullies or you know about cyberbullies, this is a topic you can choose. Yes, Tiro, always pick a topic you can relate to. It is important to take note of the keywords and the topic options given to you and to select the one you are most knowledgeable of. So let's have a quick task together. I love tasks. Um, Vicky, is there any question marks? Do you have a question, Vicky? Okay, I don't think she has a question. Let's quickly do this activity. Okay, let's try and find the keywords in the following topics. Let's look at number one. Okay, Michaela, let's turn it down with the talking. Let's all focus on the lesson. Right. Okay, here's a quick topic. We are going to try and find the keywords in these topics. Here's number one. Peer pressure will help students grow. What are the keywords rather in this first topic? Peer pressure, well done, KK Slider. Yes, grow. Students, well done. So here are the keywords, peer pressure and students. Sometimes grow. Yes, I didn't think of that one. That could be a potential answer. So in order for you to pick this topic, you need to relate to the keywords peer pressure and to the keyword students. Okay, and I'm sure all of us here can relate to peer pressure. Let's look at the second one. Parents must not pay kids for good grades. What are the key words in this topic? Parents, well done, Becky. Parents, yes. Parents, grades, kids, pay, yes, well done. Okay, so parents, pay, and good grades. And basically, what this topic means is if you pass a grade, okay, your parents don't have to pay you for it. Your parents don't have to buy you a phone because you passed the grade or a test. Your parents don't have to take you to a movie. The topic is funny. Right, let's look at the third topic. What are the key words in this topic? Students, well done, Tino. Books. Students, reading. Books, students, reading time. Okay, so students don't spend time reading books. Okay, students don't spend enough time reading books, and this is true. So if you can relate to this topic, this is the topic you would choose. Do you guys all understand now how picking a topic works? You must always make sure that you pick a topic that you can relate to. Right. Let's now move on to the next slide. So how do we choose? Look at what you are interested in and fairly know knowledge about. Will others find it interesting? Can the topic be easily researched and explained? Can visuals be used to enhance the presentation? So when you are presenting a speech, you need to know whether you would be interested in the speech you are presenting. It's important to be interested in the speech in order for you to make other people interested in it. Do you think other people will find it interesting? Vicky, if you don't know whether other people will find it interesting, think about the things that teenagers like to talk about, teenagers like to do, what do teenagers like to eat. And if there are those type of topics for your speech topics, you can pick the relevant one. Yes, Vicky, look at age groups. You will be presenting the speech to your classmates and your teacher. Look at how your classmates or the entire class will find this topic interesting. Um, if the teacher gives you 3 weeks, I feel like Michaela, 3 weeks is more than enough time to practice your speech. Right, let's look at the last point quickly. Can visuals be used? Visuals are very, very important when you're presenting a speech. So, can you use a poster to make sure that everyone, right, is interested in your speech? And can you easily research or easily explain the topic? When you are picking a speech topic, try and avoid controversial subject matters like politics, religion, social taboos, and the such. Because you need to pick topics, right, that everyone can relate to so that people can be interested in your speech. So always try to be neutral when picking a speech. Vicky is asking why. You don't want to anger your audience. You don't want to anger the people you're presenting a speech to. So you don't want to end up saying bad things to your audience that will make them retaliate. Braden is asking what taboo is. Taboo are things that are usually not spoken of. So don't talk about things that we don't usually talk about in public. So the private conversations you could be having with your friends about things that you know you shouldn't be talking about are things that you should never present in front of a class. Yes, people say to it will create conflict, and you want to be neutral. Right. Let's go on to the next part of writing a speech. The most important thing that you need to take note of when you're writing a speech is that you need to research the topic. So you've chosen your topic, right? Now you need to see how you can research this topic so that you can present facts. And there are many ways or many resources to use in your research. You can use a dictionary. Michaela, I hope I changed your mind about that at the end of the lesson. Okay. You can use a dictionary. You can use websites. You can use wikis, a Wikipedia. You can use encyclopedias, and you can use books. Okay. So you can use all of these things to ensure that your research, right, is successful. Right, guys, let's turn down the talking in the group chat so we can pay attention to the lesson. All right. You can use these things and more to ensure that your research is a success. Remember, research is not copying and pasting directly from the internet. So you don't just Google something, copy, paste, that's your speech. That is incorrect. That is stealing someone's work. Okay, you can use these resources to enhance your speech. Yes, Saris, it's called plagiarism. And plagiarism is not acceptable in writing. Okay, so when you're researching a topic, for example, about cars, you can look up a book about cars. You can look up information about cars online. You can look up information about cars in encyclopedias. Um, Vicky, you don't exactly go to jail, but there are repercussions. It depends on how extreme your plagiarism is. Yes, teachers usually know when you've taken things offline and have made them your own. Yes, Lionheart, slang is usually not allowed in speeches. Okay, so you use these things, okay, and more to make sure that your information, right, is research worthy. Your speech is quality, right? Um, for example, here, put what you find in your own words. So I know that this is difficult, but if you find information about cars online, don't copy and paste it. Paraphrase it. And I'm going to teach you how to paraphrase in a few seconds. Paraphrase it. It is also good to ask for other people's opinion, right? And use those opinions as material in your speech. Let me quickly show you guys how to paraphrase. Okay, so paraphrasing is taking an original text and putting it in your own words. Let's look at the first part, the original text. It says in quotes, unlike many other major inventions, the original idea of the automobile cannot be attributed to a single individual. And I found this from Encyclopedia Britannica. Okay, if I had to paraphrase this, I would say there are many great inventions. However, the genius idea of creating a car cannot be compared to all other things created by men. Okay, yes, Lionheart, it's something like summarizing. So you're writing it down in your own words. If you look at the two texts, the original text is nothing like the paraphrase text. However, the meaning of both texts are the same. So even though I found this information online, I didn't write it the exact same way. I took it and then I wrote it in my own way. That's what paraphrasing is. So when you are writing a speech, avoid taking things from online and just pasting it down. Oh, thanks, Lionheart. Right. After you've researched your work, you make the content relevant. So, a good understanding of your audience is vital. What this means is you need to know who you are presenting to. If you are presenting to a group of learners during break time in the field, that's fine. You know you're presenting to a group of learners who are most probably your friends. If you are presenting to your classmates, you need to know what your classmates' interests are so that you can keep their attention. An understanding of the context in which you're speaking is important. So, if you're speaking in the classroom or if you're speaking in assembly, you need to understand how you would address the two different crowds. Remember, in the class, you would be addressing your peers, people your age, sometimes your friends, but in an assembly, you are addressing younger learners and older learners. So, you need to know exactly what to speak about and how to speak about that. So you need to know what issues are in the public eye and how these relate to your topic. For example, the coronavirus pandemic. If you would be addressing that, you would need to know how to break it down nicely so learners younger than you can understand what the coronavirus pandemic is, and learners older than you can see that you have something valuable to share about the coronavirus. And the most important one as well is to choose visuals, like a poster, for example. A speech is nice and even better when you have a poster. So when you have a poster, You are able to show people exactly what you're talking about. Yes, Lionheart, like posters or drawings. Sometimes, if you have the technology in your school, bring a video and show it to your teacher, or create a PowerPoint presentation or an advertisement so that people can keep interested in your presentation or in your speech. Yes, Vicky, like a YouTube video. Right. Let's look at this making the content relevant part. Let's look at the example topic bullying. Remember, we spoke about understanding the audience. So, in order to understand the audience, you need to know who the audience is. So, for example, here I have learners in my classroom, the area my peers come from, the number of learners in my school, and my teachers. Understanding these people and knowing their interests will give you direction as to how to present your speech. Issues around bullying are cyberbullying, bullying in the toilet, bullying in the bus. So these are the issues you could be addressing to the learners in your classroom, to the peers in your area, to your teachers. And when you are presenting such ideas, you could give solutions like how do we stop this? How do we report bullying? What can the school do to bullies? How to have safer schools? Yes, how to solve the problems about bullying, like Lionheart is saying. There are many, many countless problems surrounding the topic of bullying. And if you do present a speech about bullying, there are many things or aspects you can look at. And if you can, take a screenshot of this table so that you can arrange your ideas accordingly when you are planning your speech and making the content relevant. Right, let's move on. Okay, once your topic is chosen, let me quickly read what Lionheart is saying. How to solve the problems about bullying, but there are so much different types of bullying. Yes, Lionheart, let's quickly go back to this table. Remember, I gave you guys an example topic, bullying, right? And it's a very big topic. Bullying happens everywhere. So if you had to take that topic and you have to make the content relevant, right? You would first look at who you are presenting that topic to. So you're presenting that topic to the learners in your classroom. Who else are you presenting the topic to? To the peers from the areas where you live. The number of learners in my school, my teachers. So now you would know what type of bullying to address. Cyberbullying, every learner has a cell phone. Bullying in the toilets, bullying in the bus, because some learners use the bus to come to school. And then once you've found that content, that relevant content, you can bring in solutions. So it's a very big topic. That's why I use the topic bullying, so that I can explain to you how to break down the topic exactly to make it relevant to your audience. Right. Once the topic is chosen and the research is done, go into essay writing mode. Number one, think of the speech as if it's an essay. How do you think of a speech as if it's an essay? Okay, you would have to write your speech down in essay form. And if you remember carefully, our essay has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Your speech has to have the same. I think Lionheart is asking a lot of questions. How can we stop them? How do we stop cyberbullying? Lionheart, with these type of questions, that's when you would go into research. Research how to stop bullying. See what other people have to say about bullying and paraphrase this into your own words. Then you would know how you can stop. Then you would write down how to stop exactly if you researched. Right. A suggested approach is you would choose a topic first, research your topic, brainstorm your topic, write a rough draft, edit your topic, give a final copy of your topic, and choose visuals. Remember, I taught you guys how to choose a topic. You choose a topic by looking at the keywords and looking at whether the keywords interest you or whether the keywords would interest your audience. You research your topic. So all of the questions, like the questions Lionheart has, how can we stop bullying? How do we stop cyberbullying? You research those topics so that you can answer them when you give solutions in your speech. Brainstorm your ideas. So write down all of your ideas and paraphrase all of the information that you get. Once you've brainstormed and paraphrased all of the information, you would write a rough draft. This is a draft that you don't submit. This is when you plan your ideas, write down the draft, then you edit your draft, check your spelling, check your capital letters, check your sentence structure, check your concord, check all of your conjunctions, right? Then write a neat final copy and start working on your poster. Choose your visuals. Right. The editing process is the most important part of the process. Okay, so you write down everything that you want to say, you read through it and make sure that the speech fits in the allocated time frames. So if you are given 2 minutes to present a speech, when you're practicing your speech for 3 weeks, like Michaela said, they were given at their school, make sure that you meet the time frame. Here's another important point. Always listen to yourself when you are presenting a speech. This will help you avoid syntax issues. Sorry about that. We move very quickly. The syntax is when things don't sound the right way. Okay, so when you read it aloud for your family or for yourself, or you read it into your phone while recording it, voice recording it, and you listen to it, that way you can figure out whether your speech is flowing or there are errors. And if there are errors, you would remove all excess and irrelevant information. Right. Okay, let me quickly go back to the slide. It says edit and final product. Once you are done, once your speech is final, like Lionheart said, planning, rough draft, and final. Once your speech is final, you read the speech aloud. You transcribe the speech onto cue cards for easier handling. So once you are sure about your speech, you write it down on little cue cards. Not big cue cards, no? Little cue cards for easier handling. They really help Lionheart. Then you slot any visuals that will enhance your presentation. I think Balone had a question. He had his hand up. What does to transcribe mean? Transcribe basically means to copy down. Okay, so you would copy down some aspects of your final draft of your speech onto a cue card. That's what transcribe means. In easier terms, it means to copy down. Yes, you don't always have to look at your key cards, Lionheart, and I like the ideas you keep sharing with us. They are there to help you remember. So what I like to tell my learners in class is write down the keywords of your speech on your cue cards. But the dangerous thing about keywords are you forget your speech and then all you remember are the keywords and then you forget everything altogether. So if it works out easier for you, copy down most aspects of your speech and highlight all of the keywords so that you remember what the keywords are referring you to. And again, a poster will always enhance your presentation. If you look at the learner in the picture below, she has small cue cards. She doesn't have a big piece of paper. She has small cue cards. She's looking at them briefly while making sure she is maintaining eye contact with her classmates. And her classmates are looking at her attentively because maybe what she's sharing is interesting. Okay, so when you present a speech and Some learn Siposetu raised her hand. Siposetu, do you have a question? Okay, Siposetu doesn't have a question. Props are great too, Lionheart. Right. The boring part, not boring, but the least exciting part of presenting a speech is the fact that you will be assessed for a speech. And this is what should make you excited. This is your chance to get as many marks as you can. So when you receive your rubric, make sure that you look at all of the outstanding criteria, the adequate criteria, and the not achieved criteria. And what you need to do is you need to sway away from all of the things mentioned in the not achieved criteria. Sway away from all the things you are not supposed to be doing in order to get adequate marks. And always fall onto the outstanding criteria. So let's look at planning, for example. Not achieved would be no evidence of resources used. So if you don't research your speech, you wouldn't get a mark for that. Okay. And adequate is good evidence that has relevant resources, has been consulted and acknowledged. But it's not outstanding. The planning criteria in order to get an outstanding mark says outstanding evidence that more than the minimum of two relevant resources has been effectively consulted and acknowledged. So if you research your work while you are planning and you have more than two sources that you acknowledge, right, you will get a good mark. And there are various standards for content, critical use of language, presentation, and the use of audio and or visuals. Let's look at audio and or visuals. If you make no use of visual aid, you don't get a mark. You get a very low mark or no mark at all. If you have a good choice, you get an average mark. And if you have an audio visual and impressive choice, you get higher mark. Brendan is asking, how would you know that we didn't research? At the end of your speech, okay, you would have to write down all of the resources you have used. So if you don't have any resources at the end of your speech, you don't get them up. Also, while presenting your speech, it's good to acknowledge where you got your information from. So using words like according to Encyclopedia Britannica, cards were made for convenience. Do you understand? So referring to certain resources used gives you a mark. Right, guys, we're running out of time. Let's quickly move on to this video and I'll give you guys a task. Quickly watch Thabo Mbeki present this speech.
I am an African. I owe my being to the hills and the valleys, the mountains and the glades, the rivers, the deserts, the trees, the flowers, the seas, and the ever-changing seasons that define the face of our native land. My body has frozen in our frosts and in our latter-day snows. It has thawed in the warmth of our sunshine and melted in the heat of the midday sun.
Okay, so that is a speech by Thabo Mbeki. It's titled I Am an African. If you'd like to watch the full speech, just quickly go check for it on YouTube. I'm sure you'll find it interesting. Let's quickly move on to our activity for today. And I'm so sorry for cutting it short, but today's lesson was really, really long and people had a lot of questions. So for today's activity, quickly take a screenshot of the activity. It says, plan and write down a speech based on the following topic: the coronavirus outbreak, tips and tricks for survival. Make sure that your speech has a striking introduction, informative body, and clear ending. And include a list of all the resources you've used at the end of your speech to prove that you have done your research. A first draft is not necessary for this activity. Okay, so quickly take a screenshot of this activity so that you can do it and email it to me. Does everyone have a screenshot of the activity? Remember, if you submit the activity to me via email, you get a shout out at the beginning of the lesson. Awesome. Right, here's my email address if you need to email it to me. Email all of your speeches, not letters, to me at langa.pearl@gmail.com. And I will send you guys my email address here, the group. Email it to me when you're done with it. And join me again tomorrow. We'll be looking at language structures and conventions, tenses. Yes, today's lesson was very fun, guys. I'm Braden. It's due anytime from today and 12 tomorrow. All right, guys. Remember, a speech is a formal address or discourse delivered to an audience. Many, if not all, great speeches are remembered as much for their stirring words and as much for the context in which they were delivered. Choosing a speech is important. Researching the topic is important. Making the content relevant is important. Writing the speech is important. And editing the final product is important. Right. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in today. You can check us out for more information at www.africanteamgeeks.co.za. You can email me at langa.pearl@gmail.com. You can follow us on social media at African Team Geeks. You can follow me on Twitter at Pearlings, and you can add me on Facebook at Pearl Pulling Langa. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in. I enjoyed the lesson as well. See you guys tomorrow.